What's up everybody? Welcome back to another tutorial video. So today, I'm going to give you 12 tips on how to become a more efficient Warzone player. And I guarantee you, with these tips, you're gonna become a much better Warzone player. So let's get straight into it. Okay, tip number 1, reloading. So when you reload, as much as possible, you want to leave at least one bullet in your magazine. Why? Because if you leave one bullet in your magazine, it will reload faster than when you empty out your magazine. So let me show you real quick the difference of emptying out your mag and leaving one bullet in your magazine. So this is how it looks like when I try to empty out my magazine. Okay, now let's try to leave at least one bullet in our magazine. Did you see the difference? Okay, let's do a quick side by side so that we can clearly see the difference. As we can clearly see, if you empty out your magazine, it will do an additional reload animation, which can be really crucial. Like that additional animation can decide if you end up killing your enemy or end up dying. So as much as possible, try to leave that one bullet in your magazine. It doesn't have to be one bullet, but at least leave one bullet so you can reload faster. Take note though that this doesn't apply to sniper rifles. If you do the same with sniper rifles, the reload animation will be the same whether you have one bullet or if you empty it out. Tip number 2, parachuting sideways. So if you want to maximize the distance you're parachuting, you want to parachute sideways. When you parachute sideways, you can cover a much longer distance than when you parachute forwards. This is especially useful when you try to drop somewhere which is very far from the plane path. In order to parachute sideways, hold the free look button. On PC, it's usually Q, and then hold left or right in order to parachute into the direction you want to parachute sidewards to. So in this example, you can see that I parachuted all the way from train station up to prison. So if you want to maximize your parachute distance, parachute sideways. Tip number 3. Mount your weapon. Now, as simple as it sounds, I only see a few players who constantly do this. And those players are usually the ones who get more kills or end up winning the gunfight. Now, why should you mount your weapon? The reason is, especially when you use weapons like the AMAX, the RAM, or any other high recoil weapon, you will be able to kill your enemy much faster because when you mount, there's close to no recoil than when you just aim and try to control the recoil. So if you watch the pros, you will always see that they try to mount their weapon in order to lower that recoil and get that instant kill. So when you spot an enemy and have the time to mount your weapon, take that extra second to mount your weapon. So whenever you get the chance and have that tree beside you, that ledge, that doorway, that wall, try to mount that weapon and I promise you'll instantly get more kills. Tip number 4. Buying faster at the buy station. Now this applies only to mouse and keyboard users. As you may have noticed, controller players can revive their teammates much faster at the buy station. For mouse and keyboard players, you have to go to the menu, click your teammate, and then click the yes button, which takes sometimes super long. Now in order to speed up the process, go to your buy station, interact with your buy station, hover over the item or teammate you want to buy, press space, press W, and then press space again. And bang, you've bought your kill streak or your teammate much faster than you would have if you still had to scroll through the menu and individually click all the buttons. Because in Warzone, those little details and those little seconds matter a lot and can be the difference whether you can only revive one teammate or all 3 of them. Tip number 5. Have a fully loaded class. Now what is a fully loaded class? Fully loaded is a perk which you can put on your modern warfare guns to start with max ammo. And let's say perhaps it's the 5th circle, you came from the gulag and get that free loadout and you're all on your own, you can go pick up that fully loaded class and have instant full ammo. Instead going for your normal class, which only gives you 1 ammo and leaves you very vulnerable when you have multiple opponents and only one magazine. Or, let's say, you already have your complete loadout and your teammate just came from the gulag. You can drop your ammo, get that fully loaded class, and now both of you and your teammate have full ammo. So usually what I do with my loadout, I remove my commando foregrip and then replace that with my fully loaded perk, just in case when I need it. So build that fully loaded class, guys. It will come in handy at one point. Take note, however, this only works in Modern Warfare guns, as there are no perks with Cold War guns. Let's move on to tip number 6, and my favorite tip, the double one. What is the double one? So in my settings, the number 1 key is bound to next weapon. So whenever I press 1, it will move on to my next weapon. So what is this double one? Whenever you pick up a gun, you will notice that it will do this short animation before you can use it. So let's try to pick up this PKM. So as you can see, it will do this short animation, which won't allow you to use the gun right away. This is especially noticeable when you use LMGs. So let's do that again. I'm picking up my PKM. And I can't shoot. It takes like 1-2 seconds before I can ADS and shoot with the weapon. Now in order to prevent this, what you want to do is click double one when you pick up your weapon. So let's pick up my PKM and then press double one. And bang! It didn't do the animation. Let's try that again. And bang! You can shoot right away. Using this double one has saved me countless times, and it makes the difference whether you stay alive or end up dying. So guys, make it a habit to press double one when you pick up that ground loot. Tip number 7. Use the square minimap. So in order to enable the square minimap, go to your options, go to general, scroll down, and pick minimap shape square. Now why should you use the square minimap? Let me show you the difference real quick. Now if I change this to round, you can see I will see a lot less on the map rather than when I use the square map. So earlier, if you noticed, we were able to see the squad right here in our minimap. But since we changed this to circle, we can't see it anymore. So let me change this back to square again. And bang, you can see the quad on the minimap again. Doing this will give you a huge advantage, especially when you're using a UAV and your enemies are not ghosted, or when your enemies don't have any suppressors on their guns. So it's much easier to pinpoint them since you can see more on your minimap. Tip number 8. Revive your teammates first before completing any contract. Now this is situational because not all the time you have the money or have the time to revive your teammate first before completing a contract. But if you get the chance to revive your teammate first, you should absolutely do it. The reason for this is when you complete a contract while your teammates are still dead, your teammates will only receive half the money from the contract. So if you have the money to revive your teammate first, revive them first, and then complete the contract so we can maximize the money we get from the contract. This way, you'll end up with more money to either buy a loadout or revive another teammate. And make sure when you revive your teammate to not complete the contract until your teammate's HP and armor plates come out in the lower left screen. If you complete the contract before his armor plates and HP comes up, you will still only receive half the money. So wait till that HP and those armor plates come up on the lower left screen and then complete your contract so you can maximize the money you will get from your contract. Tip number 9. Parachute as late as possible. So when you're dropping from the plane or the gulag, you always want to parachute at the last second possible. Again, it's all about efficiency and saving those split seconds. Those split seconds can make a difference of whether you can pick up that gun first and stay alive, or let your enemy pick up the gun first and end up dying. This also goes for when you jump off tall buildings. When you jump off a building, you don't want to open your parachute right away. The reason for that is when you open your parachute, it makes you a much easier target for your enemies. So what you want to do is jump off the building and parachute at the last second possible, because when you free fall, it's much harder to hit you than when you parachute all the way. So use those parachutes wisely. And also disable your auto parachute in the menu, as this would open up your parachute earlier as when you would just do it manually. So disable that auto parachute and practice opening your parachute at the last second possible. Tip number 10. Use your money. Now I see a lot of players, when they reach the last circle, They carry a lot of money but don't have any kill streaks, no ammo box, no armor box, or even a self-revive. So as much as possible, always want to make sure to make use of that money. So if it's getting late and you notice that there aren't any buy stations available anymore in the next circle, make use of that extra money. Buy kill streaks, buy those self-revives, buy those munition or armor boxes, and it can make the difference of whether you losing or winning the game. I can't count the amount of times where I asked my teammates for that extra 3,000 to buy that cluster strike, which ended up winning us the game. So make sure guys that you use that money, as it can be game deciding. Tip number 11. Loot fast and loot efficiently. Now this sounds pretty basic, but a lot of players overlook this. So when you loot, you always want to do it as quickly as possible to save as much time you can. Like I'm always repeating earlier, it's all about those split seconds, all about that efficiency, which can make the difference of either you losing or winning the game. So when you loot, make it quick, think ahead of where you want to loot next, and familiarize yourself with where potentially items or money could possibly spawn. This way you can save lots of time, especially when you're trying to reset and people are calling UAVs all over the place. When you are resetting, don't be afraid to die. Don't crouch walk an entire building just because you are afraid to die. When you are resetting, it's all about taking those risks, looting fast, and getting your teammates up as fast as possible. Tip number 12, and our last tip for this video, slide cancel. Now this is another very basic tip, but again, a lot of people don't utilize this too much. I still see a lot of players who just walk and do not slide cancel. The reason why you should slide cancel, so that you can always tactical sprint. Whereas you just sprint, it then would cool down for a bit. But if you slide cancel, and if you do it correctly, you will have unlimited tactical sprint, which will get you from one place to another much faster than when you just walk or normally sprint. In order to slide cancel, all you have to do is sprint and then double tap your crouch button. Also, when you do slide cancel, it makes you a much harder target to hit rather than when you just sprint or walk straight forward. So always slide cancel guys, in order to stay alive and save lots of time. So guys, which of those 12 tips do you think will help you the most? And did you learn anything new? Please let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll know right away when there's a new tutorial video out. So guys, thank you for watching, and as always, peace.